What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Stacey the Intuitive. I thought, let's do an impromptu reading. I couldn't really figure out what videos to make. When in doubt, let the cards guide you, and then I'll probably have a lot more content from there. I'm just using the decks that I already have readily available in my bed. Also, decided to just do this reading at my bed, okay? Just want to make it comfortable and easy, You guys know the vibe. So let's get into it. Let's see what this reading is going to be about. We have the Power of Love Activation Oracle cards. Let's see what wants to come through. Calling upon God, calling upon my wonderful divine team. Thank you, God, for creating this space, for the protection, for the love, for all of your creation to have come together to receive whatever message wants to come through for our highest and greatest good. Allow me to tap into my intuition. Allow me to tap into my inner knowing. Allow me to tap into my ability to perceive and read energies for the people. Thank you, God. Please protect my energy. Please protect this space. Please protect those watching. Thank you to my wonderful spirit team of benevolence for supporting me in this reading. Thank you so much for connecting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I intend to connect with the audience through this reading so that I may relay the message as clearly and precisely as possible. And so it is. Thank you, God. And thank you for being here. So we're going to tune into the energies and we're going to see what we get here with this first deck. So we got two cards. I'm literally just taking what comes out. We have loyalty and we have self-love. I really like that energy right off the bat. Essentially, to me, that's saying, it's saying that having this strong sense of loyalty and consistency of being really holds yourself accountable in the name of, honoring self-love. Right? Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. That's what the card says. So being able to be reliable in all aspects of your life and staying consistent within your being in all aspects of your life is very important. And then self-love, you realize that love of self is necessary to love another. So we're talking about, essentially, these messages just kind of flip right back into each other. So it talks about having loyalty as a pillar. But then it also talks about how if you want to become a loyal person, if you want to do these things, you also have to offer that to yourself. So I feel like there must be a little bit of a disconnect here. I'm not going to lie, okay? And yeah, especially with this card coming next, and we have the ownership card. You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them all as lessons, okay? So I feel like there's been this lack of consistency within your being for yourself, which is very interesting. I feel like there's this energy of, there's this like lack of loyalty towards the self, which is being reflected back to you in a little bit of a weird way. So the more that you lack this sense of loyalty and love of self, like the less that this is an initiative that you take on your behalf in being loyal to yourself, the more, your energy is essentially disrupted, the more that you are putting other people before yourself. So I feel like there's this energy of maybe you're being loyal to people to a fault. Maybe you're being loyal to other things to a fault, in the sense that it's taking away from your sense of self. And you really want to start getting in the energy of prioritizing what it means to be loyal and to offer these energies. Because I feel like these energies are coming into your life and maybe they're disrupting your sense of, it's just disrupting your sense of balance. I haven't really gotten deep into like what is being disrupted here because it's an interesting energy, but it's something is disrupting your sense of balance because you are letting it get in the way of your own self relationship, in the way that you should be loving yourself. There might be this energy of you expecting that from someone else or trying to seek that outside of. But in general, this ownership energy is really talking about you coming into a place where you have to acknowledge how your lack of self-love or your lack of loyalty to self is kind of posing as a lesson for you so that you can make some shifts. But let's get deeper into it. That's a really interesting introductory message. You need to be reliable to yourself. You need to be able to show up for yourself. You need to be able to be consistent within your being when it comes to yourself. If you want to offer that to anybody else, if you want to attract circumstances that are a reflection of that. But like I said, we're going to get deeper. And then we have solitude, material and spiritual prosperity, hope, fertility, and then positive movement forward. So what I get here is, with this solitude and material and spiritual prosperity, it really just talks about this being your individual journey. As you go into solitude, it will lead you to material and spiritual prosperity. And I can see that you have hope for this. And I can see that, you know, there is fertility here. You are on fertile grounds. There's positive movement to be had here. But I think that what it's highlighting to you is that you need to show up with this consistency of being and things like that, because that is what's going to get you there. Now the message is making sense. There's this energy of like needing to be loyal to yourself in order to get what it is that you truly want. If you haven't gotten it, it's most likely because you haven't committed to it. If you haven't reached the point that you want to be at, it's most likely because you needing to take ownership of the fact of the matter, or of the fact of your power, of the fact of your own influence over your life. And I think that for a lot of you guys, it's coming down to this energy of loyalty, your sense of devotion and consistency of being to who you truly are trying to be, right? So like if you're like, this is my dream and I want to be this, have you been loyal to that vision? Or have you been always willing to kind of write it off, swear it off, say no to it, walk away from it? And I definitely am resonating with this as it comes through, even as it relates to my content creation stuff. How loyal have you truly been to your dreams, to the version of you that you're wanting to become? Or are you waiting for something else outside of you to come and validate that you should be loyal to that? That would be a little bit crazy, right? And that could even be just like the external. It doesn't even have to be a person. It's like I was saying, like, can your career dreams get in the way of your relationship with yourself? Right? So say that you're like, I want to be a scientist, right? And you feel that a lot of things about you resonate with that career path of being a scientist. Who you are is a scientist embodied, whatever, at the soul level, but you're waiting for other people to come and validate your scientific capability, as opposed to just demonstrating this consistency of being and devotion to that version of you. But you can only do that if you truly have a love for that part of you. You can only do that if you truly, truly, truly have love for that part of you, regardless of the way that it has manifested up in your life until this point. And so this is what we're talking about. This hope energy here is going to create the fertile ground to move forward, because the more that you have hope in that version of you, the more that you dedicate this sense of commitment to this version of you, the closer you will get, right? The closer you will become to where you want to be. I'm going to use this Rider-Waite Tarot deck, but keep in mind that I do not have the Hanged Man in this deck, so I try not to use it on this channel much, but we're going to just make that a part of the message. So you are lacking a perspective here. That is going to have to be a part of the message if I'm going to offer it to you guys with an all-encompassing. So missing the Hangman card here just indicates to me there is a lack of perspective. Like you've lost a certain perspective here. And to me, that's just going to be the perspective that you have of yourself. The perspective that you have of yourself, right? Losing perspective that the reason that you wish to become the person that you wish to become, the reason that you see yourself as such, is because you love that version. Like you love that version. I think there's a need to tune into that. Then we got the Six of Wands. We got this victory, this recognition. I really think that this just comes down to that sense of self, right? Like your success and who you are, like recognizing yourself as successful. So we have the Six of Wands, the Page of Wands. I feel like this victory here and the success is like what inspires you. It's like, this is like the person who already has it. Like they've already won the reward. They're naturally a fast runner, but maybe like this victory energy here is what inspires them and keeps things moving, and it's what initiates this choice in order to do it. It's one thing to just be it, but it's also another thing to choose it because it's true to you. So for example, like we were going out with the running thing, you were just like like if we're talking about it from like the under the energy of the essence, a runner might be invited to run not knowing that they can run, and then they naturally win the race. But then from winning that race, they become therefore inspired, and there's like this childlike sense of wonderment. That's what the Page of Wands is, childlike wonderment towards like a new venture. And this creates some momentum and some energetic movement so that you can choose said thing. And that thing here is you. That thing here is whatever is natural and essential to you, whatever resides within you, whatever is a part of this solitary journey, right? It just resides within you and your path. Nobody else is making it happen or bringing it to you. It just simply is. It exists because it is. So I just feel here, and this might just be like a really quick reading, but there's just this energy here of needing to be loyal to yourself and taking ownership of the places where you haven't been loyal to yourself. And where if you're wanting to get somewhere, most likely it's because you haven't been loyal to that self. Because if you had been, you know, devoted and showed a consistency of being, of knowing who you are, then you probably would have been there. To embody it is to be it, and to know it is to manifest it, right? And so I think that there's a beauty here as well that happens in this ownership energy where you kind of like get to take your power back. It would be one thing if you're just like, it's out of my power, it can't happen. But another to be like, oh, I've actually kind of been putting myself in this position. I actually have more power here than I think. I can catalyze these energies more than I think. I can bring about what I'm wanting more than I thought I could. I can make shifts that are going to make this happen. Period, y'all. I love that. It's just like a quick, easy, simple message. It's just a quick, simple, and easy message. You need to be more loyal to yourself, right? Then we have spiritual union, emotional withdrawal, power, and base chakra. So, you know what? This can apply in a couple different ways. This can also have a romantic feeling to it, right? This is like the spiritual union element. These people are just connected. They just are. Like getting out of your feelings a little bit about it, because that's a lot of the time what will take over this is like these feelings, right? That can take away from this sense of loyalty where you might be like, oh, I am this, I feel this, but then, you know, I'm embodying this, but then you get into that very emotional state where it's no longer being, and now you're starting to feel, and you're feeling the lack of it and all those things. So this spiritual union energy just talks about coming into union with their truth, coming into union with yourself, but also maybe coming into union with your spiritual partner. And when you do, there is this importance. I think a lot of the time we think that we need to be like first and foremost emotionally invested, but rather this is telling you to be spiritually invested first, emotionally withdraw, and that is where you will find your power and security. And I really feel that because it's really just the energy of like embodiment. It's being there, it's being present for it, it's knowing that it's true, it's knowing that it's you, it's knowing. It's literally the energy of knowing here. And that's where that loyalty comes through. It's in knowing. It allows you to be devoted and consistent with the truth. And this base chakra and power, this base chakra and power energy just talks about the power that you have. Like it's, the proof is in the pudding. So yeah, guys, this is a pretty cool reading. So what deeper do we want to get into? Is there like any extra deep tea that we want to get into beneath the surface? Not just, you know, what do we want to get into beneath the surface? Okay. So we got the 9 of Wands and Judgment, which to me just says like, there's this fear for it to not be for real. Straight up. We got the 9 of Wands, Judgment, 10 of Cups, and Wheel. You're just afraid that it's not for real. Straight up. You're afraid that the judgment is going to come and then you're going to look at it and be like, it was never mine. But judgment is coming to offer you ultimate fulfillment, total change and shift from where you are. But again, it requires that you shift from like this wounded warrior, this energy of like, oh, it hasn't been it, so I'm scared that it's not going to be. No, you got to know. This is a shift, a change. So where I have been is no longer resonant for this space. So I shouldn't even be looking at it like it's possible for me to be disappointed in the same way, right? So I just feel like you guys are, what's beneath this is that there is some fear that at the end of all this it's not going to be what you wanted it to be. That you're going to prove to have been wrong. And that's not the case, guys. What's being asked of you is for your loyalty, your devotion. And sometimes it's not, it can't be the thing that comes through. Something external can't be the thing that gets you to be loyal. You have to choose it on your own so that you know it's real. Okay. This light is going out. I'm sorry. But you have to choose it on your own so you know it's real. And you become loyal to it so you know it's real. And I love that because I had a season of just like totally being loyal to things, like a relationship specifically. And I kind of thought of that as like a weakness, but you know, I think that there was this sense of inner knowing within me that really initiated this loyalty and turned out to be that I was not being loyal and at a fault. So I can really attest to this energy. I can understand this being fearful, but it is the fact of like that devotion and consistency of being that you have, of like your inner knowing, that will get you across the finish line. And so as you go into this next season of integration of this message or whatever, I would encourage you all to go into it with an attitude of loyalty rather than like achievement. It's like, I'm loyal to that version of me. Like, I'm committed to that version of me. Because why do you commit to like romantic partners? Because you want them, because you care for them, because you love them. So that is why you need to find that energy to commit to yourself in that same way. Like, why am I committing to myself? Because I love myself, because, you know, I want that. Like, you know, like really just choosing that instead of letting this fear get in your way. Because there is a huge shift and you're coming into union with your dreams, but you need to be loyal because any disloyalty to them could ruin the path going forward, okay? So I hope this message resonated with you guys. I hope that it provided you with some clarity, okay? And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.